Yes, we are recording Thursday night training. Highlight of the week. Highlight of the week. Okay, so we have Miss Allison coming on in the room. All right. So yeah, I like these conversations before training actually start. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Who was it? Jason, right? Jason. I'm going to start with you, Jason, and allow you to share your screen so that we can see what's been happening with the trades this week for you. Put some eyes on it, and we're going to look at a couple of pairs as well, and do a quick analysis. The highlight for tonight's training is Doreen. Doreen has graciously agreed to share her screen and share with us the scanner, the features and benefits, how it works, and that kind of thing. I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited about that because mine's is not up yet. So I'm looking forward to her training on that. So before we get started, Jason, if you can come out and share your screen, and let's take a look at some of the questions and answer some of the questions that you have.
Okay.
Oh, let me give you permission to share. Okay.
Can you see it?
No, I don't see your screen.
Shit.
There we go. All right. So let me put my specs on, see what's happening. This is GU. Okay.
I mean, I can't really see much now. So you can just see, you can see all of this, right? My mouse.
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of one of the pairs that I follow a lot, and I've just seen that. I mean, I didn't know if I was doing something wrong, but it just seemed like if you, like you said, if it's just gonna, you know, retrace and move to the side, then that's fine. But I don't normally use a stop loss, and I really started trying to do it, just trying to tighten up on everything. And I just found that every minute I was just getting wicked out, just throwing these long wicks. So this is what happened last night. I was right here, I was like trading here. I don't know why but what happened was it was going up and I was doing a little test and I was like, I think there's like something where depending on what direction I'm gonna go, it's gonna move the other way.
Based on, okay, what was that theory or assumption based on?
I was just watching how the market was, I was watching it moving and I was like, wait a minute, it's, you know, from what the trend surf and everything was telling me. So I had a trading and it was just going the other way around. So I just closed it out because I was like, well, maybe I didn't do my analysis properly. And then all of a sudden I closed it out, then it started moving the other way. So I ended up just leaving it and I thought, all right, so I ended up going against the trend, but I thought, well, it's gonna come down anyway. So I had placed my, I just wanted to kind of test how my theory was. So I placed my stop loss kind of above here yesterday, and my take profit was to be here where this line is. And then it just threw out this long wick and took me out and then came back down, but it's just been moving sideways all along. So I was like, maybe I'm not analyzing it properly because I probably shouldn't have been in this if there's other signs that were showing me it's just moving sideways. So that's
Okay. Well, the fact that it's moving sideways. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking maybe I'm missing something, or maybe I'm not as up on my analysis as I was before, and maybe I'm getting too comfortable, and I probably should have looked somewhere else to see that it's doing this, and I shouldn't have been in it. But that's what I was saying to you at the beginning. I just wasn't sure if I'm missing, like if there's on a different time frame where it's just showing me it's just consolidated. Stay out of it for now, because I just found that I was just all week was just consolidated, going sideways, sideways, sideways.
Okay. Well, the fact that it's consolidating, that's part of our price movement. So that's quite normal. Nothing we can do about it. Now, I would not enter a trade in consolidation, but if you've already been in, if you're already in the trade and it consolidates, just wait it out. My first question though is, what position were you in? Were you buying or selling?
In the end, yesterday I was selling.
Okay, and what was that sell based on? Or was it on, you were selling from the hour?
I was selling from the hour. It closed underneath the 13, and on the On the 4 hour, on the 4 hour it was a sell, but this thing was still green.
Okay, so
This was all yesterday. And then because this was like earlier in yesterday and it just kind of stayed sideways. I was like, all right, let me just leave it, put my stop loss in before I go to bed. So whatever happened. And this long wick just came out, took all, hit my stop loss. But again, so my risk management is still really, really good. I'm still just watching it. So it didn't blow my account or anything close to that. But I was just like, how do these things happen? Maybe because I didn't get any, when I got into it, it wasn't consolidated. But it just seemed to consolidate all day. And that's what I found all week is all my trades just consolidate.
Okay. So do you recall where you got in at?
I know it would have been in one of these bits here because that's why I put these lines.
Okay, so it was in there. Now let me ask you this. You were selling, and was the big arrow, the bearish arrow in that area as well?
This big arrow hadn't even come up yet.
Okay, so in all actuality, it was a bullish move. It was a bullish trend then.
It was a bullish trend, but what happened is I ended up getting to it beforehand. So then it started to change, and I was like, well, I'm already into this now, and it's a learning thing. So let me just stay in this and ride it out so I can learn from this. And that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so the first thing I would say is, it sounds like you traded against the trend. That's always risky, always.
Yeah, but before I was in it going bullish and it was going bearish. I was like, well, what am I doing wrong? So I was like, well, maybe I haven't done my analysis wrong. So I just took the hit and closed it all out. And then I watched it for the rest of the day. Then when I started seeing it moving down, I was like, all right. And I waited and looked at my other charts and I looked at the other time frames. So let me get it down. And then it continued to move up again. So I was like,
right, because that was the trend.
Yeah.
Now, but here's the thing. Whether you are buying or selling, if you're in the position according to the trend, there's always going to be opposite movement, always. So the fact that you were in a bullish trade, you was buying based on the trend, which was right, and then it started pulling back on you, that's quite normal. Like, don't let that bother you. That's normal. Price is always going to pull back no matter which position that you're in. So you always want to be on the right side of price, which is with the trend. So it sounds like you got out of the buy, and then you put in a sale, and then of course it went back in the direction of the trend. So price did what it's known to do based on price movement. So the first thing that I would definitely caution is that trade with the trend, and always expect that price is going to pull back, always. Like if you look at your if you look over to the green bearish candle over to the right, the other way, the one all the way over, the other bearish candle, I'm sorry, I guess it's the left, is my right, your left, slide, or because you got the bearish, then you have the bullish, and then if you keep going, you got the bearish again.
So what am I keep moving?
Yeah, keep moving to the other green bearish candle you have.
Over here?
Right. Okay. So right there, you have a bearish big arrow indicating that price now wants to trend down, right? And it dropped all the way down, but then it pulled back. It pulled back, right? And went back all the way up. This is normal. And it pulled back down, and basically it came down until the bullish big arrow populated. So that's just an example of that's just normal price movement. No matter what position you're in. If you're buying, price is definitely going to go against you. It's going to go on the sell. If you're selling, it's going to go on the buy. But it ultimately goes in the direction of the trend. So that's why it's real important to just hang in there with that. Like stay in the position based on the trend, because it will. Even in this case here at the end right there, where you got in for the bullish run, it still went up. That long wick spiked it all the way up. And so much so that it populated your bearish big arrow. So it still did what it was supposed to do, according to the trend. And then of course, now you're looking at a bearish direction forming. So it still did what it was supposed to do. So The only thing that, and here's the other thing, it's a GBP pair. You want to be extra careful with GBP pairs because the normal movement of a GBP candle can be anywhere from 60, 70 pips in one candle or more, right? So it's very volatile. Any GBP pair is like that. So if you trade that, just, you know, I would take extra precaution so that you can maintain your risk.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted it to play out so that I could now go back and look at it and see what happened rather than just cut it and walk away from it. I was like, okay, this is what happened. And that's why I kind of mark it like this so it stays there. And then I'm like, all right, let me see, where did I go wrong? Why did I lose confidence in my analysis?
Now you're talking. That because
I lost
your
confidence
analysis was right initially.
Yeah.
So what happened? Now tell me if I'm right, because this is very common. Don't get me wrong, it's very common. And I always say, when we put our trades in, we've done our analysis, we followed our rules, we executed on the trade. Now walk away from it. Don't look at that trade, because when it start pulling back and doing some stuff that's not in agreement, then the anxiety and the you know, all of that stuff, the anxiousness starts to develop. And then now we overthinking, now we second guessing. Now guess what? Now we actually do something to sabotage that trade. And I really think that's what happened, Jason, because initially you was right. You was on the right track. You was doing what you had to do. And when it pulled back, it rattled you.
Yeah. What also is, I've seen that a lot this week. I've just, maybe it's just this week. Maybe it's a growth, it's a learning curve. But just this week, I just feel like I just need to get back to the basics again and watch everything and just keep going over it. Because I'm like, man, you know.
Yeah. Well, trust your analysis, right? Trust your analysis. Trust your rules. Let's make sure that the rules are tight first and foremost. Now, one of the things that I don't do as far as like the early entry strategy, I don't use the trend circle. I'm not telling you not to use it, but I don't use it. It's not part of my rules. And that's one less thing on my chart, right? But if you're fine with it and it complements, you know, then great, that's fine. But just make sure that the rules are correct. So let's go over that real quick. So walk me through your rules when you come into the chart. Let's go over what you would do step by step before you enter the trade.
So before I enter the trade, what I do, I look at the I look at where my dots are, and then I line it up with all of this down here, and then I make this bit bigger, just so I can see this space here.
I think your volume went out.
Okay, can you hear me?
No, yeah, it's muffled.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Okay, I got you now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I make this big just so I can see this gap here and just make sure it's all on the right side. I look at the trend surfer. I look at where my marks are. I look at for any of these, and then I go to the higher time frame, and then I look to see if it's doing the same thing. And if I see it's doing the same thing, and I'm like, okay, that's it. And then I start just going down by one to the 30-minute, and then I still look at where all the normally, or sometimes I will put this blue box just so that I can see is in what's coming up, what's happening next, because I want to know where it's going to start fighting or drawing back or giving me resistance. And then I just kind of look all the way down through all of them. And if they're all the same, if it's all kind of going in the same direction, then I'll go back and look on the 15 or the hour, then I'll enter for my my 10. But just this week, I don't know what's happened this week. Maybe it's just, I don't know.
Okay.
It's been different this week because I've been trying to do the same thing, but but I guess also where I've been putting in my stop losses, so I've been getting stocked out a lot. Whereas normally I can leave it to run. So I'm like, man, is that a loss because it hit my stop loss where it would have did what it did anyway? because I'm trying to just get more tighter on how I do things.
Right, right. Well,
Yeah.
one thing I would say is that every trade is different. Every trade, because price moves different, and every pair has a different behavior as far as how how it moves. So the stop loss is just going to vary, right? It's just going to vary. So if you identify your stop loss, it's an appropriate level, whether you deciding to do a 1-to-1 ratio, 2-to-1, or whatever, and price hit it. Well, that's a reflection of just the way price moved during that time frame, which we don't have no control over that. The only thing that we can control are our rules. Now, with the rules, I'm a stickler on it. Like, you cannot deviate not one iota on the rules, because that deviation can cost you, your trade. Now, what can be mechanical, like you get to a point where it's just mechanical, you're just mechanically doing the same thing. That's the goal that we should have, because that's really the only thing that you can control. Right? We can't control, like, that big wick on that other one, that big wick. We can't control that. Like, we have the news forecast, and we can make adjustments according to that, but in the big scheme of things, we just can't control it, because that's a broker's move right there. That was a market maker move. They snatched up millions of dollars on that one wick. Only thing we could do to protect ourselves against that is to make sure we're not over leveraged if we happen to be in the trade at the time, right? So what I would say is that, and each pair you have to kind of make adjustments, because every pair has a different behavior. Like GBPs, I already know that no matter what, I'm going to be under leverage on the GBP, and more than likely, if I trade a GBP, I'm going to have a very specific take profit. Like, I'm not really trying to stay even arrow to arrow unless I'm on 10 cent, because the pullbacks are crazy. Like I said, one candle on a GBP pair can be 80 pips. And imagine if you had a pullback of maybe 3, 4, 5 candles. Like, it would take nothing to wipe your account out, nothing. So that's an example of just a different type of behavior based on the pair. So, with all of that being said, every trade is different, and we have to adjust. So what I'm going to do, Jason, is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go over the rules again, very specific rules that we follow. And that's just it. Like, and if it meets it, great. If it don't, we move on. So let me share my screen, and I appreciate you coming out. Before I do that, though, Jason, was there another pair? Let's see if you have another pair. If basically it's the same thing that happened.
I mean, this one is not as just. I mean, this was another one, but I don't really remember this one. But again, it's just been going sideways, and I'm like, it seems like I'm getting in these trades and they're just going sideways. I could have just left it, because it hasn't really moved anywhere. So then I was looking back and trying to backtest and see, is it something that I'm missing where I could have just said, oh, this is going sideways, just leave it alone. Let's wait for it to actually move.
Well, were you already in the trade?
No, I was never in it, and it was going sideways. But once I would get into it, and I'll just be watching, it would just be moving sideways. Because I don't know if I did this one yesterday. This one was a win, but it just went sideways, and I'm like, how am I just keep getting into these trades? I must be missing something, because it was never really like that before.
Oh, no, you're not missing anything. Listen, that's just the way Euro GBP want to act today. Like, it's just the way it is. But consolidation is quite normal. Quite. Matter of fact, the market consolidates 80% of the time. 80% of the time, the market consolidates. So if you are in a consolidation, it's quite normal. It's quite normal. The only thing that you want to make sure of is that you're on the right side of price. So you're trading with the trend, right? And it's going to go sideways. It's going to pull back. It's going to do all of that. But even though it's doing that in the direction of the overall trend. So if you're in a downtrend and it consolidates, okay, that consolidation, and then it pulls back, then it consolidates again, then it drops lower than the previous consolidation. See, it's still going in the direction of the trend, but that's just what happens with price. So that's quite normal. You didn't do anything, you know, out of the norm. You can't control that. Just be on the right side of price. Yep, just be on the right side of price. Now, the other times that you are referring to, you know, maybe the market just, you know, teased you a little bit and went in your way nice and smooth.
Yeah.
And you thought that's how it's always going to be, but no, it's not. It's not going to always be like that.
I learned this week a lot because I'm like, wow, I've never really seen it. But again, it's because I'm trying to watch it more tighter. I'm putting my really pay more close attention and put my lines in. Where before I could have probably just jumped into it and I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you didn't do anything, you know, wrong as far as consolidation. That's just normal.
Yeah. But then I do find when the London session opens is when I get my answer because it usually closes out for my time when it's like 12 o'clock.
Yeah, the London session going to definitely push price.
Yeah.
There's a lot of volume that's being transferred during the London session. So most of the time when you start to study the market makers pattern, it typically will consolidate before London, because what's happening is all of those orders, all of the money basically is being accumulated, right? It's being accumulated and tallied, if you will. And then when the London session opens, it's just a big volume of money being, you know, sent through the system, through the banks and that kind of thing. And so that's how come you will see such a high volume and volatility during that. Now that process is the same for every session. It's just that the London session in particular has the largest amount of volume going in. So when the banks close down, well, not close down, but close for the day, you see on your GBPs, the volatility starts to decrease. And as the night progresses and we start getting into pre-London, you're going to see a lot of consolidation. Like, just study that, you know, go to your GBPs during pre-London. You'll see a lot of consolidation. It's just the accumulation phase of money being prepared to enter back into the system. And when the banks open, you see that big push up or that big push down, and that's the reason why. Okay. So let me share my screen now, and we shall. Let's see here. Am I on my screen? All right. So y'all see my screen? See my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And I just want to go over those rules very specifically for those that's using. Like I said, I do not use the Trend Surfer. I just have my MACD basically, right? And my 13. And so the first thing, I always start on the hour, right? We always start on the hour. And what I'm doing on the hour is that is the basis of when the criteria is met on the hour. That is my go ahead to go through the rest of my trading plan. So I'm looking for my big arrow, right? Now the big arrow, I don't have my zones here, but wherever the big arrow is, that is where the zones would be. So if this is bearish, my zones would be right there, right? My bearish supply zone. So the first thing that I will do is once I see that on the hour and I have at least one candle that form after the big arrow, and what I'm looking for preferably is a bearish candle, but nevertheless, I'll go up to my 4 hour and I'm looking for the exact same thing. When I say the exact same thing, I'm looking for the trend to be the same, meaning the big arrow, and I'm looking for price to be in the same zone. That's what I'm looking for, right? And so in this case, it is bullish. Now, I would move on because my first criteria there's a conflict, right? Now, it doesn't mean you can't get into this trade, but there's other things that you would be having to look for. Maybe next week we'll go over that. It's still going to be in the trend though. It'll still be in the trend, but you just have to know what you're looking for and what you're waiting on in order to get in the trade. Whenever you have a disagreement with the higher and lower time frame, it's still a good trade. You just got to know what to look for. So next week we'll do that. So in this case, nope, neither, nada, nota. Move on, right? We just move on. Let's see, on EJ, we're gonna go to the hour, and that's all we're looking for, right? Is for the match. And I know this is early because this is a big arrow on the first candle, so I know this is gonna be early, but let's look on the 4 hour, and we're bearish on the 4 hour, so that's great, right? So I have my trend is in agreement, and price is somewhat in agreement. Let's just see. We want it basically to be in the zone, right? We want it to be in the zone. So somewhere around here is what I will be looking for, right? There you go. So we're in the zone, right? Price is in the zone. Now what I'm going to do is drop down to my 15-minute, and I'm looking for the exact same thing. I'm looking for the trend to be the same, and I'm looking for price to be in the zone. And we have that here. So all are in agreement. Now, once we have all of that in agreement, then on the 15-minute chart, what we're going to do is we're going to wait for a bearish candle to close below my 15. Is this a 15? 13. Are you getting mixed up? My 13, right? Moving average. So I'm looking for a bearish candle to close below that. Once that happens, I will align that candle that closed below the 13 with my MACD. And what I'm looking for on the MACD is for my signal line to be on top, right? So I'm looking for it to cross over, either cross over or already on top. Once I get that, the only other question I'm asking myself is, did that candle, is it sitting on a support or resistance dot? And if it's not, now we look left, determine your TP, get in the trade. And once you do that, all of that checked out, you've done your part. Now you have to let the process play out. That means we're going to go through some pullbacks. That means we're going to go through some consolidation. It's perfectly okay, because the overall direction of all of that different back and forth is still in accordance to the trend, with the trend. Okay, and really that's just it. So one of the other things that I would recommend, again, I'll say it again, don't look at it. Don't look at it until you have built enough fortitude to not be affected by the pullbacks when it happens, because it's just normal. It's just normal. Now, as far as your stop loss, the first stop loss, the initial, when you put the trade in, that initial stop loss, and this is just a suggestion because I don't get into managing your money. So the suggestion would be that your stop loss will go above your big arrow. And most often, almost 99% of the time, that is above the top of the zone, the box, which is a great area. And then, then you just let it ride. Now, once you have identified, let's say you identified this area right here. I'm just throwing out let's say we got in here, and you identified this area as your TP, right? So that's what, 39 pips, right? So you can say somewhere about 39 pips, I'm gonna go ahead on and trail the rest. So you lock in your 39 and you make that determination. But at some point, there should be a point where you lock in, meaning you trail the rest, meaning you protect your capital. So now if this was that area, then you good, you risk free. You got 39 pips no matter what the market does, no matter what. And then you continue to trail. Now, what I like to do is after I lock in, I like to trail 10 pip increments, and every 10 pips that it continues to go down, I'll take 5 more pips off. take 5 more pips off. Just keep moving your stop loss. So that is how I trade. That's just it. And those are the rules, you know, to the deal. Okay. So if nobody have any questions about that, what we're going to do is we're going to get into some juicy stuff with this scanner, right? So Doreen is going to share her screen and she's going to talk about the scanner and the do's, the don'ts, and how, you know, it works. So I'm looking forward to that. Hold on one moment. And so Doreen, I am going to, did I let you share? Okay, the share screen is there. I'm gonna stop sharing. And so now, Doreen, you can share your screen.
Okay. This should be pretty quick.
All righty. I appreciate you.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Now, this is the scanner and this is the alert page. I try to keep it up near the scanner so that I can, if I need to look back, because what I just noticed earlier today, and that I like, is the fact that this is my time zone right here.
Oh,
you know,
good.
you normally, I didn't know that, but you know, you have the broker time zone over here, and then this stuff here. So if you want to double check your chart, you can do that. So anyway, these are all going off, and then these will stay on for a little bit and a little for about, I guess, 2, 3, 4 minutes, and then it'll disappear. But you at least have your list over here. So
Oh, okay. So when it disappear, what does that mean?
It's just when it disappears and then it comes back and refreshes itself. So you want to see it, what you want to happen is like this NZD CAD. If I really like this one, I would have taken this one, but I don't mess with NZD. But you see, you have a buy signal and then you have a sell signal. So I would just look at the higher time frame just to see, but it's not, you know. But this is one I really like. You have a buy on a 5 and you have a buy on a weekly. So in my opinion, that's a very strong pair.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to look at that one. It just disappeared as well.
Okay.
So,
so when it disappeared, doesn't mean that the call is no longer valid. Right?
I don't think so, but I'm thinking because I don't know for sure. I hadn't heard Uncle P say anything about that, but I'm thinking it's more or less like a that dot, the evidence dot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's something maybe like that.
Okay.
So, okay. So anyway, that CAD AP, that was a buy. Let me find that one. So this is it. It was a buy on the 1 minute. So it's no longer a buy on the 1 minute. Not up here anyway. So I wouldn't even mess with it on the 1. I don't even mess with them on the 1 minute anyway. My concern is looking at a higher time frame. So I would start with the H4. And so what you want to do, the first step is 5 steps to this easy pip strategy.
Okay.
The first thing is to it said it was a buy. It said it on the weekly. So I'm gonna go on and go to the weekly. So your first step is to make sure that the candle has closed above the thin line. Okay.
The thin line.
The thin line. So that would be your, I should have made them thicker, but that would be this line right here. It's technically a moving average. So your candle has to be above the thin line. That's your first one. The second step is the star should be bullish, or in this case, blue. So these are little stars.
Okay.
So we're good so far. So we're 2 for 5. The third step is the arrow should be green or bullish. So we have that. Okay. So we have the green arrow. The candle is above the MA, and the stars are blue. Okay. The fourth step is the RSI line should be above the 55. Let me move this out the way. Let me move it over here. It should be above the 55, which is this line. So you have the green. It's above the 55, and it should also be the fifth step is the green line should be above the red line. And that's it. So, you know, if you want to take the trade, because everything matches up and it's on a weekly. Now, you, of course, by being on a weekly, that's a strong signal. So I'll go down to the 15. It's probably okay. So you'll have some pullback. You can wait if you want, or drop down to the 5 let's see, H1. Yeah, I would. I guess I would wait. Oh, that's a daily. That's in the right direction. But if you look at these, they're all still above the EMA, so it's still technically bullish since we're looking to buy.
Right, because
So
it's a pullback.
exactly. So I guess I'm a more of a I would take the trade.
Yeah.
I
So
would
what the
probably
hour look like? What's on
hour.
going on the hour?
Yes, it's still above that.
On the
And
hour too?
yes,
Yeah.
that's the hour. Everything is above. Everything is where it's supposed to be. The only thing is you don't have the arrow for the the easy pip strategy. There's no arrow for it. But as you can see, I have my trusty big arrow.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's basically it. Like I said, it's only 5 steps. And of course, it's the opposite if you're looking for a downtrend.
Got you. Okay.
That's
I like
it.
that. I like
Mhm.
that. And
Yeah,
those are simple, easy steps.
exactly. I'll post them in the room, but like I say, they're just 5 steps.
Right. Now
Uh-huh.
you can situate your scanner to where you're only like you can determine the time frames you want to be alerted on. Is that right?
Exactly. And I set it up that way, but for some reason, I'm gonna have to play with it some more. But for some reason, it didn't take. I only wanted the H1 through weekly, and for some reason, it put all of them on there, which I guess I'll probably just leave them on there. And I also had taken a lot of these off that I know I'm not going to use.
Right.
Um,
Just to kind of take some of the some of the weight off.
Right, exactly. And for some reason it came back. But this is good to have and to keep on your screen because say you go somewhere and you come back and you didn't get a chance to see all of these, because this will probably be blank in the next 2 minutes. Probably won't be anything on there for a minute, but at least you have your list here. And this is also good if you want to, like, say tomorrow. What I plan to do tomorrow is Friday, so around maybe 3:30 or so, I'm going to copy and paste this, and then I'm going to utilize this to look over my trades to see what I'll have for next week.
Absolutely. I like that.
Yeah, and
Like
I'll most
that.
see. Look how you see how it just disappeared. I forgot which one it was, but what I'm going to do also, I'll look through here and look for the higher time frames. Like I actually got a. I don't know if that was today or yesterday. I actually did get the gold today, one day. But yeah, this is that. But like I say, it's pretty easy, and the hardest thing is setting it up.
It's getting it set up. I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now, as far as because I know it's adaptable to different trading methodologies. So for say the early entry strategy, how would you use that? So you'll just tell it to open up. You'll designate the pair or pairs and time frame, but that's where I'm confused at. So
Okay. If there is not a specific pair that you're looking for, whenever it pops up, just go to like this. This is the only one that's showing her. Well, there's another one. Let's go with ARCAD, for instance. Let's see, ARCAD. That was the 1 minute. There's a 1 minute for a buy. Okay, so I mean, you can just one glance. This really should be called one glance because you can just look at it and tell that it's already met all 5 of the steps. But anyway, for early entry, now I know with the early entry you have your MACD, but the RSI can serve as your MACD. You still want price to be above a certain thing or below a certain thing. So I can see how it can work because to me the scanner is pretty much for just to give you an idea of what pair is ready.
Right.
So that's all you need it for, and then from that point on, you just go with whatever strategy that you are using at the time.
So it's going to tell you what pair is ready based on your criteria, though, right? So in other words, you still got to go in, like for simplicity, for instance, you make the adjustments as to when you want that the triple to show and that kind of thing. So all of that, you actually going in and making those changes, and then the scanner will alert you based on that.
That's a good question. I'm not real. I'm going to say that the algorithms are based on the easy pip strategy. As far as
Okay.
once it gets to that, goes over the MA and all that stuff. But
No, you're right.
uh-huh.
You're absolutely right. That's what it is.
hmm
Janice?
But so,
Yes.
but
Doreen,
I'm guess oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Doreen.
Oh, okay. So, seeing is that you can make changes as far as like I know you like the 12 for the MA. I'm sure you can go in and change the thin line to
Mm.
meet that criteria as well as the RSI. You can change that to your 12. That can all be accommodated with with that strategy.
Right. So you can make modifications.
Yes, you can. hmm
Well, yeah, as long as you can make modifications, then
Oh
I can
yeah,
definitely see it fitting into
definitely.
whatever mode.
Because
Yeah.
I've already made them changes. I mean, of course, with the trend, you can change that. I've already changed it to 5.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Good, good. I think somebody had their hand up.
Oh, okay. I don't.
I want to say it was David. David, did you have a question for Doreen?
Well, I wanted to bring a little bit of clarification
Uh-huh.
because I've already installed it.
Mhm.
And from my understanding is that anytime you get a buy or a sell in the scanner, that means it's in the hot zone.
Gotcha.
So
True.
the way
Yes.
you set it up, you can connect whatever screen you want to go to, whether you're using Simplicity or whether you're using our method. So for my understanding is from what you taught tonight, using your methodology, or I call it the Janice method. If
Mhm.
you're using that, what I would do is that I would blank out everything except for the H4, the H1, the M15, and the M5, because that's what you look at all the time.
Ah,
You don't need the other ones.
right.
When you get a buy on the H4, it's in the hot zone. So
Right.
it's just a matter of time that the buy is going to show up, and then you can do your top-down analysis. But since we trade off of the 15, you really want to look at the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So when you get that buy, it's going to hold it for about 5 or 6 minutes. And then it's going to go away because everything you're going to get is going to be fresh. However, you can go back to your alert notifications and it'll be there. So if you got it on the hourly and you want to go back and see if it's hit on the 4 hour, you go back because every time you hit it, it's a fresh scan. The downside is once it hits, it's going to go away until it goes to another zone. So you may have to check it manually. So that's my understanding.
Well, the alerts, I appreciate that too, David. That makes perfect sense. The alerts, having the alert up will mitigate that because now you have a record, if you will,
Right.
of your calls that the scanner made.
Yes.
So you'll always have that reference. That's good. Okay.
And you can also take, because of the way MT4 works, what Uncle P said is that you can get your alert and you can have it call when you're like, if you're looking for the 4 hour on one of the pairs, when it hits that, you can have it alert you through a call or however MT4 works, because MT4 is a little limited, but you can still have that alert when it hits that. It'll alert you too if you set it up that way.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hey, David, do you know how to get this alert box up? Like sometimes I might make a mistake and close it. Or does anyone know how to get it back up except for having to wait for an alert to come up?
I was looking to do the same thing, Doreen. This is Dave, and I haven't been able to figure that out.
Okay.
I went into the EA and then into the properties section, and I changed the alert notifications to false, and then I saved it. Then I went back in again a second time and changed it back to true, thinking it was going to trigger the notifications back,
Right.
but it didn't do it.
I thought it might have been on the.
I think we got to wait until an alert pops up.
I think so too. I thought it might have been under the alerts where you have the journal and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought when we first got the scanner that we might be able to please correct me, Doreen, if I'm wrong about this, but I thought that maybe we could customize it to, the early entry method. But
That's what I was looking for. That's
But why
exactly
can't
we really have to, it really runs off of the algorithm, like you said, I think it runs off the algorithm that's pre-programmed into the scanner.
Right, it is pre-programmed, but what I was saying is that, like I was saying, Janice likes the 12, so you can change that thin line. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, I have to go back and see, but you can change the thin line to to the 12,
Mhm.
as well as the RSI if you want to use that. But you don't have to use the RSI to match the- Better yet, you can put your own. Well, I don't know if that will work. I was going to say you could put your own MA on there, but it can be customizable. That's for sure.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna definitely play with it when I
Oh
finally
yes.
do get it on here.
Hmm.
I'm gonna take the
Basically, what
time
we
to do it.
would be trying to do is to match what we're doing in TradingView.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Is that true?
Oh, I was just agreeing. I don't know if I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because she liked to use the 12, so I'm thinking we can change the thin line to match that.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see, that would be. I'm only interested in anything that will complement, enhance what's
Right.
already, what the foundation is, and I believe this can do that. I just got to get in there and play around with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The way I've been using it so far is when an alert pops up, I just like if something pops up on the 1 hour or the 4 hour, I go in and I compare the scanner result
Mhm.
to the early entry result with the early entry
Mhm.
system. And usually the early entry systems, we would be entering before an alert would pop up on the scanner.
Gotcha. And that would make sense since it's an early entry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So the early entry system it's just a little different, but if the scanner algorithm right now is coded for triggering a triple arrow, for example, in a hot zone, well, we might already be in a trade based off the early entry system before the scanner even popped up the result.
Right, right, right. And I'm wondering if we make the change, will that change the algorithm
Mhm.
or not? You know what I mean? So
Right.
in other words, if I if I added the 13 on there, for instance,
Mhm.
Mhm.
would it trigger when price close above or below it?
Hmm.
Or would it just not even matter because
I don't
it's
know.
already hard coded for a certain, price action to happen?
If I'm not mistaken, I think on the Super Easy Forex site, when you go to purchase the scanner, when it talks about all of the different
Right.
enhancements to the scanner, one of them in there, I believe it does say that it's customizable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
And
what I heard.
so I just can't figure out how to customize it. Maybe
Mhm.
Doreen, I think you're onto something in terms of changing the MAs or
Right.
changing
Mhm.
things to customize it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure it's not that much different from the simplicity as far as how you customize it. So, and I
Yeah.
have done, a little tweaking, but I hadn't thought about changing, some of the other things like that. But,
Yeah, if we
I
could
mean,
ever figure out how to match the scanner to the early entry system, then that would really be something.
right.
Yeah, listen. That's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna play around with it and tweak it because that would just be so phenomenal.
I
Mhm.
like David's suggestion of just having the scanner running on the H4, the H1, and the 15,
Yeah.
for
And the
example,
15, yeah,
and then getting rid of everything else.
yeah,
Mhm.
because that's all we need.
That's all we need.
That's all we need. Well, I'm definitely going to between after tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to get it on here, and I do believe that the problem was identified when you mentioned, Doreen, about making sure that the pairs that you put in there
Mhm.
is identical to the way it's worded per your broker.
Right.
And I didn't do that.
Mhm. I know
So
that was what
hopefully
tripped up
that's
a lot
gonna
of people.
yeah, I was, oh my gosh. But I'm on the right track, and
Mhm.
it also, I do believe that will do it because, like I said, the BTC USD that pops up,
Oh yeah.
that pops up. So
Yeah, I had to do that with mine. Is I have like all of the symbols in my broker have a -5 after the letters.
Mm.
oh,
Like
that's different.
AUD, USD. Well, it's an Awada account that I have it's one of my live accounts.
Okay.
But all of the pairs have a -5 after it, so I have to put -5 in the pairs section, and then once I did that, then it worked, and the scanner was popping up results. So Yep,
Yeah, I think
fine.
that's the answer. I think that's the answer. And then I'm gonna start playing around with it and see how we can customize it, to complement what we're already doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Janice, I
Yes.
think that when Pat was demonstrating that, I didn't buy this yet, but from what I understood, like when you set up your templates for whatever strategy you're using, like the quick entry method,
Mhm.
I think there's an input box that allows you to put that template, like
Mhm.
naming it, and I think
Right.
that's how you customize it, but I'm not positive, but you might want to try that.
Well,
Oh,
what that one does is it'll open up the chart that you want it to open up. And when you change that template to that is the very last one. Um, if you wanted to open up to Simplicity or early entry or whatever,
Yep.
that's the chart that it'll open up to.
You're spot on about that. It just doesn't trigger it doesn't
Right.
trigger it on the scanner. It just shows you the template you're using.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
What we gotta figure out
I
is
thought
how to,
maybe it triggered based on whatever you had set up on the chart. That's the only reason.
Oh no.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
See, I thought the scanner was going to do that, but I guess we gotta. I don't know if there's a way. Like this is the key to it, is to figure out how do you get the alerts to pop up after price crosses the 13 and
Mhm.
after the signal line crosses on the MACD. I don't know. I don't think we can do that on this scanner. I haven't seen that. So you can certainly do that with TradingView,
Mhm.
but
Yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't seen a way to do it with the scanner yet.
Yeah, because what we would need is for our price trigger when it closes to 13, but it has to coincide with the MACD crossing too.
Right.
And that's the part that's iffy. And I'm wondering if I can even if I add the MACD, or even if I could add the MACD, would it trigger it then? I don't know.
I
Mhm.
don't think it will, because I think it's still running in the background. I think the scanner is running off of an algorithm that was pre-programmed.
Yeah, that's what
And
I'm
so it's going to pop up a triple arrow or something based off of, whatever template's in there. Like when I first installed it, I was testing it, and I got results running it off of the Simplicity, and I got scanner results running it off of the triple arrow system,
Mhm.
both of them, the old system and the new.
Okay, hold on now. Something just popped in my head. So we can customize the Simplicity. So if we take the default setting, and like it's 20, but make that 13, which would be in alignment with the MACD cross, whether we have the MACD or not. We don't even need
Right.
to have the MACD. We know that at 13, if we set it to 13, in other words, for the triple arrow to populate at 13, we know that would be in alignment with the MACD crossing. I'm gonna have to play with it, but I
Yeah,
think
that's a
that
possibility.
Mhm.
Yeah,
because
we have to just to test it and see how it's going to run.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because he said it works with any system or any
Yeah.
strategy, so it should
Yeah.
be.
Exactly.
So I
Mhm.
think it's a matter of changing. I think it's a matter of changing the triple arrow on the Simplicity, that setting
Mhm.
to, well, in our case, the 13,
Right.
because we know the 13 would be, but now that's the entry. I gotta play with it.
Well, since the big arrow or the entry arrow coincides with the MACD, and so it seems like you'd be able to set the big arrow.
But see, the big arrow don't coincide, nor the entry arrow. The simple moving average coincides with the MACD. The entry arrow coincides with the MACD crossing the 0 line.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and the 13, the candle closing above or below the 13 coincides with the cross of the two moving averages on the MACD.
Okay.
So that way we box price in right in that section.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm thinking if we change the triple arrow setting for Simplicity to 13, but would that still coincide with a moving average? I gotta play with it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna play with it though once I get on here. I appreciate it though, Doreen.
Oh, you're welcome.
I do. It's like you wonder in your mind, but when you actually see it, you can start piecing things together and making the necessary adjustments.
Mhm.
you know, whatever's possible. Does anyone else have any questions for Doreen before we wrap up? Well, I certainly appreciate your continual support. Thank you so much. All righty. And Paul, how you doing, Paul? Paul, are you back in business with us, brother?
Yeah, I finally got my laptop back. I feel like I'm in withdrawal, trading withdrawal. I'm itching to trade, and you know, now I'm like this because I can't even trade.
Right. I get it. But you know, sometimes it's good to detox too.
Yeah. So I finally got back my laptop, but for some reason, I don't know what's going on with the external hard drive, but for some reason, now my laptop can't read the files on my external hard drive. And I'm not too sure if that's a format issue or a Windows issue, or I don't know. So I have to now play around with it. And if that's the case, then I would have to re-download everything. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you don't have to do that. But it sounds like if in worst case scenario, if you did, you'll still be back in business.
Yeah. But my laptop is running much smoother.
Good.
This new drive and the RAMs that I installed, so much better.
Good.
So, but yeah, I'm pretty much gonna be back in business, but I just gotta set everything back up the way I had it, and then I can start doing the one-on-ones again. I already got a couple of people who's doing it. They're on boot camp right now.
Okay. Yeah, we miss you.
Yeah,
they definitely missed. So
they on demo right now. They can't trade live until I feel like they're ready to go live.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's how to. Yes, I love it. I love it. Good things are coming out of this group, hands down.
Yeah.
Let me ask anyone that may know. So what I'm looking for is a app that would allow me to, like, we're on Zoom now, right? But I can share my phone and you all can see what I'm doing on my phone. There's an app that allows you to do that. And so that's what I'm looking for, because there are some things that I want to share with you all, but it's on my phone. And I want to, because here's the thing. If our computers are down or we're away from the computer, we still can trade on our phones. Like, we don't ever have to be just completely out of pocket. We can trade on our phones, and I want to be able to demonstrate that, but I have to demonstrate it on the phone, and you all will have to be able to see it. So I'm looking for an app that would allow me to do that. And I did put some fillers out in my other community, because I see videos where people are doing that. So I know it exists.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
You can
but
actually
I don't know the
Zoom,
name of it.
actually.
Yeah. Well, if anybody come across it, you know, just help me
Janice,
out.
sorry.
I'm also
can actually do it on
wondering if
Zoom.
it's like something that you have to do on a Mac computer with an iPhone. I don't know if there's some correlation to that. So
Yeah, because I've actually seen it on both. I've seen Macs and I've seen the Androids as well.
oh, okay.
I have seen it on both. Yeah.
Sorry, Janice. Just to say, you can actually do it on Zoom. All you need to do is just to log into Zoom on your phone. Join the group with your phone, and you can share your screen like you're sharing your screen on your laptop, or you share it on your phone, and it would work exactly the same way.
Okay, so let me see that in my head. Okay, so I'll log into Zoom on my phone.
Yeah. And just share your screen.
So basically, everything that you're doing on the computer, you can do
it on your phone.
On the phone, yeah. You can share it on the phone. You can, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It takes a village. Listen, this is not my strength. When you start getting the technical, I'm like, okay, I'll come back to that later. But okay, I think that's the answer. Listen, teamwork make the dream work. I appreciate that. Who is that, Peter or Jason?
Yeah, that's me with my sleeping
Peter,
voice. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much.
That's Peter.
Thanks so much. I think that's the answer. So I'm definitely going to do it tonight. And and then we'll rock and roll because
Why don't you test
yeah.
it right now with us?
yeah, actually, you know what? Let's see.
I mean, we're all on. If you can log in or something, see if you could share your phone and see what happens.
And let me see if because I'm already logged in. See, if you log in on your phone and you're on a laptop,
But you want to share your phone with like people watching on a laptop, right? That's what you were talking about?
well, I think Peter was saying that I would just be logged in on my phone.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was something like when we're talking, if you wanted to show us like a chart or something on your phone, that you'd be able to show your phone on the screen here on our computers. You know, I've seen that done. People do that.
Right, and see, that's what I was going with. But based on what Peter's saying, I can do that, but I can't be logged in on my computer and my phone to do it.
Let me see if
You want to be logged in on both the computer and the phone?
No, I don't think you can.
Do you want to? I think there's a way. There is an app that I have where you can mimic what's on the screen of your computer to your phone, and vice versa.
That's what I'm looking for too.
There's one app, but I know there are a few others. I haven't tried the others yet, but one of them's called AnyDesk. I heard of that.
AnyDesk.
Oh yeah, I have that.
What is it called? Any? Like ANY?
See.
AnyDesk, yeah. And there's a couple of others, but I got to do some research.
Is that like mirroring or
It's like
Right, it's
mirror-
mirror.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mirror.
AnyDesk, yeah.
Mhm.
AnyDesk is one of them. There's other ones. I gotta Google and find out, but there's a few others too. So like, let's say if you're going out and you can't look at your charts, you can mimic what's on your computer on your phone, and you can still see the simplicity thing going, and you can still control everything of what's going. But as long as what you have to make sure your laptop is open and on, and your phone is on, they don't shut off or go into lock screen. Because then if that happens, you would have to you would need the security key again to log in to show, have authorization to show it again.
Oh, okay. Well, shucks, that'll work too. That'll work too. So I'll try AnyDesk, but I definitely like what Peter was saying. I think that's definitely going to work. But I know that you can't. I know you can't be on I can't be on my phone and computer because even
I think
when
you can.
I've done that before. I do it a lot.
Yeah. I just tried it now. I was on
at the same time.
I was on a meeting on my laptop and the phone at the same time. So yeah, you're good. You're good to go.
Well, let me try it if y'all don't mind.
Yeah, because what I think you're thinking that you can't be logged into two different Zoom sessions at the same time on your phone, but this is one Zoom session you're logging into. You're only on the one on your computer and the one on your phone, but it's the same Zoom session. It's not like two different ones. It's not like you're trying to watch two different, separate Zoom sessions at the same time. That's what I think you're.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because I know, like when I'm doing my sessions, when people do that, it's a massive echo and it goes in and out. So I thought that was the conflict.
Yeah.
But let me try real quick.
Yeah, with that, you just have to mute your phone or something and use your laptop.
Or put on headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then after this, we're gonna wrap up, guys. I appreciate y'all patience. This is gonna be a big help because, and then I'll be able to demonstrate, like when I do my trail and stop, I do all of this on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, come on. Where's my Zoom? Hey, I'm sorry, hold on. I got a lot of apps on here too. I need to clean up some stuff. Okay. Hold on, what's happening? Okay, hold on 1 second. What I'm gonna do is pause
that app, and because then the laptop will have like a security key code, and then all you have to do is put that on your phone, and then it can mirror everything what's on your computer on your phone. And
Yeah.
you can do everything what you need to do. Yeah.
Well, I'll try
It's
anything.
kind of like how I guess like Apple or Microsoft in the main support system, like if there's something's wrong with your computer, they ask authorization to get to your computer to use
Right.
it. Same concept.
Gotcha.
Same
Gotcha.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was very fruitful. Learned a lot today. I like when I become the student. And but no, speaking of that though, if there's anything that you all may have that you think can add to our understanding, just to enhance what we're doing, by all means, I'm more than happy to turn over the reins, because everybody has something that one another can benefit from. So whatever you feel that may be, by all means, just let me know, and you can certainly demonstrate to the group. Okay. So any questions before we wrap it up tonight? All righty, so I see to make sure everybody's good over here in the parking lot. Okay, great. All right, well, with that being said, we are going to close out. Again, thanks so much, Doreen. Thanks so much, Paul. Thanks for everybody you all hanging on in there. Say again, Raleigh.
Could I speak with you after the meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You gonna call me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I do be getting requests. Just so that you all know, I get requests for me to call, and that probably won't happen because I just can't remember to call people. So, but you all, by all means, you can call me. I'll always answer. Okay. All right. With that being said, I'll see you all next week. I'm gonna do an analysis for the week coming up. And the one from last week all played out beautifully, except for EuroChef. It's still got, EuroChef has my head in a noose. I've been in drawdown the whole week with EuroChef. And it plays on you, because I'm at the point now where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take the L because I'm just tired of it. But I know that it's ending its little reversal. But I don't know. I still might take the L. I'm done.
Were you going for a buy or sell?
Buying.
Okay, because I just got in it earlier today for a buy.
Yeah.
The alert went off. Mm-hmm.
See, but now you probably got it. Your price is great. I begin another week, and so I'm in that drawdown. But it's actually, I think I'm about 8 pips in drawdown. I dropped 3 positions, so what's that? 8, 16, 24 pips in drawdown. But that's the low end, though. You know what I mean? It's back and forth all week. But it happens. It happens. It's still gonna play out the way it's supposed to. And we'll rock and roll. So I'll see you all next week.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
All right. Have a good night.
All right.
Good night.